What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now, before I really get started onto today's subject, I just want to mention my throat is quite frankly fucked. It meant I couldn't record a midweek video, and it might affect my voice quality in this video, but I just figured I would record it anyway. So today we will be discussing whether Skyrim is overrated. Now, Bethesda's most popular RPG and possibly one of the most famous RPGs on the planet, if not the most famous, is well known for its in-depth character creation, plethora of quests, just epic scale, and many, many other things. However, there have been many other great RPGs over the years, and sometimes people might suggest that Skyrim shouldn't be considered as highly as it is. And today we'll be addressing that subject, going over some of the things that maybe make Skyrim not as good as people seem to think it is. If you do enjoy, like, subscribe, and we'll get straight into it. Now, Bethesda's most popular RPG is one in a long string of Elder Scrolls games, from Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim. Now, those three games have all had great quality, but Skyrim itself has been so successful, but there's not even a mention of another Elder Scrolls game on the horizon at the moment, because they're just generating so much revenue from Skyrim, from immense mod support to just, it's released on every major platform in the last few years, like PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and if reports are to be believed, I'm not sure it's been confirmed yet, they will also be releasing it on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Now, that makes Skyrim one of the longest serving RPGs in history, and as a game, it has generated so many jobs and careers for content creators that dedicate their time to role-playing real characters. Having said that, it is well known that Skyrim has its issues, and that's what we're talking about today. So first up, we're gonna address the quests in Skyrim. Now, for an RPG to be truly great in my mind, side quests have to be consistently awesome. They have to make you feel like you're in some epic tale. Now, one of my favourite RPGs in recent history was Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, as an RPG, as a game, that gets probably like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, but the one thing that stopped it from hitting the stratospheric level of like a 10 out of 10 game was its side quests. 90% of them were pointless shit, just in general, didn't add anything to the storyline, and certainly didn't add anything to the character development. That's how you don't do side quests. An example of how you do side quests would be in a game like Horizon Zero Dawn or The Witcher 3. Now, The Witcher 3, for anyone who doesn't know, is probably a 9 or a 10 out of 10 RPG. Its side quests are like whole new games in themselves. The main quest is epic, and everything else is just amazing. Haven't played it? Definitely do. Now, Skyrim sits slap bang in the middle of those two games, with some quests being amazing, challenging, and really developing the lore of the world, and some quests being slightly less glamorous. Now, if you're playing Skyrim, the first town, you're probably going to come across is, aside from the one you almost get executed in, is going to be Riverwood. Now, Riverwood is home to quite a few side quests that will start you on your journey, one of which being the Golden Claw quest. This is an example of a quest that does really well. It challenges you, it lasts a long time, probably a couple of hours if you're new to the game. There's a genuine reason for you to do these things, and there's some little suggestions of world lore in there as well. Also in Riverwood, you will find a quest where you can forge or deliver a love letter to decide who this woman chooses. I can't remember the details, but it's those sort of side quests that really work. Another example is the Thieves Guild main quest. Some of the Assassin's quest, there's a couple of others as well that are actually really quite interesting and quite well done. Now, Skyrim is also home to some of the most boring side quests you'll ever play in your life. Now, the Thieves Guild, while its main storyline is awesome, unfortunately, all of its side quests are shit. If you... Fuck. Now, if you've ever gotten massive thrills from stealing what is supposed to be an expensive trinket from a shop, or stealing something from someone else's pocket, a gem or whatever, then the Thieves Guild might be for you. And the first couple of quests are really cool when you actually feel like you've stolen something successfully. Unfortunately, the rest of the quests don't really stand up. After sort of the 5th and the 6th one, you're going to start getting really bored of fast travelling to a city on the other side of the world just to steal one thing and come all the way back. And that is the story of Skyrim's more pointless side quests. A lot of them will be fetch quests. A lot of them are go here, kill this person, go here, talk to this person, find out what happened to this person. With no story development, no character development, and no real investment on yourself into the story as well. And it's for that reason that I think Skyrim side quests overall are quite underwhelming. I can probably only sit here. I've played Skyrim quite a lot. I'm sitting here. I can probably think of 5 or 6 amazing side quests. Maybe a dozen okay side quests, but the amount of side quests that were just... It's like a competition of how many times I can say side quests in a video. But the amount of pointless side quests is quite phenomenal in a game of Skyrim's size, to be fair. They've done a really good job fitting all the quests in there, but it's just a shame that some of them are shit. And they just don't stand up to some of the other great RPGs, whether you think of Mass Effect, Dragon Age... The Witcher, Horizon Zero Dawn, even other sort of more action RPGs like Far Cry or something like that. The side quests just don't match up in Skyrim, unfortunately. Next up is the state of release of Skyrim, and to date. Now, most game companies, if they release a game that's glitchy as fuck, broken, doesn't quite work as it should in many occasions, some of them game-breaking glitches, then we will hang them at the cross, burn them alive, and never ever buy a game from them again. That's a bit drastic, but if someone like Ubisoft or EA release a game that's glitchy or broken or laggy or anything like that, even for the first few days of launch, there will be no end of newspaper reports telling them how bad of a job they've done. But when Bethesda release an RPG, whether it be Fallout or something from the Elder Scrolls, it's almost worldwide accepted that a game should be glitchy, or their game is okay to be glitchy and broken in some awful ways. There are sometimes when they release a new RPG, even now when I play Skyrim, that a save just randomly corrupts for no reason, or I'll get I'll fall through the floor, or for no apparent reason that still haven't been patched. Some of them can be even considered exploits, and it's just like, if it's double standards. Why did Bethesda get to release a game that's that broken? But if any other game does it, then it's a big issue. The Witcher 3 is bigger than the Elder Scrolls games, but the Elder Scrolls games has hundreds, maybe thousands of bugs and glitches on launch, and then people make mods just to fix these glitches because Bethesda takes so long about it. And that to me is not the mark of a good game. A game shouldn't be broken on launch. We all know this. It's almost an unforgivable thing. Battlefield 4 is one of my favourite games of all time, but I didn't play it for like a month after it released because it was so broken. But why is it acceptable for Skyrim? If no one's been able to give me a concrete answer as to why it's acceptable for Skyrim. Back in the day, you used to be able to say, like with Oblivion, it was a massive game for when it came out. It was a massive game. But Oblivion was somehow less glitchy than Skyrim. And Skyrim is a big game. Don't get me wrong, it's a big game. But especially on consoles, there's less strain on the game. They're not rendering as much. The draw distance doesn't have to be anywhere near as big. There's usually only going to be a couple of saves. There's no excuse for releasing a mess on launch. It just isn't. And that brings Skyrim down in the ratings for me, unfortunately. Next up, and the last sort of subject I want to talk about today is character development. Now, RPG does mean role-playing game, which means that you are stepping into the shoes of a character to complete their story. And that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there can't be any backstory or just character enhancement on the developer's part. Take Mass Effect, for example, one of the best trilogies of RPGs ever. It's a different kind of RPG to Skyrim. An average Mass Effect save might last 40 to 50 hours if you put a lot of effort in, whereas an average Skyrim save can actually last thousands. But with Mass Effect, you had a discernible backstory and you could craft your character to become the person you want. With Skyrim, there's no penalties for acting like a cunt. there's no penalties for, well, anything, really. You can murder a whole village and the best you're going to do is just get a bounty on your head. But in Mass Effect, if you act like a wanker 24/7, the way that people talk to you and react to you is going to be changed. The same in Dragon Age, the same in The Witcher. And that's just missing in Bethesda's RPGs like Skyrim and Fallout, unfortunately. It just is. It's just one of those things. And not only is your own character development lacking, there's also borderline no character development of anyone else in Skyrim or Fallout. Now, Fallout and Skyrim, mainly we're talking about Skyrim, so Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games in general are quite unemotionally attached, aren't they? You don't get attached to characters, not really. You might get companions and stuff like that, but you're not going to care if one of them dies. It's just one of those things. Whereas in Mass Effect, if one of your squad mates dies, you're devastated. That's like a start again type deal, right? But in Skyrim, there's not enough concentration on developing the characters around you that should matter. Why should you care about this queen? You're doing quests for her, but why should you care about whether she stays on the throne or not? Why should you care if you pick the Imperials or the other ones? Stormcloaks. Why should you care if you pick either of those? You don't, quite frankly. You pick whichever one you're feeling at the time. There's no emotional investment in Skyrim at all. Zero. Compared to other RPGs, that's actually quite worrying, because every other RPG makes you care about the main character. Makes you care about what they're after. Even Bethesda's other series, Fallout, really makes you care about what your character is searching for. But in Skyrim, there's no need to worry. No need to worry about anything. And I think that's quite disappointing. I do appreciate having emotional investment to worry about when I'm playing an RPG. That is about what we're going to cover in today's video, guys. Don't get me wrong, I do love Skyrim. I've played it a lot over the last sort of 6-7 years. I've put a lot of time into Skyrim, but usually I might only hit 20 or 30 hours in a save before putting it down again for 6 months before I come back to it. And that is not the sort of incentive that I like to have from an RPG. I really like to be pushed to complete something. And I've never thought that Skyrim is as good as people claim it to be, unfortunately. Everyone puts it on this top tier level of RPG, but for me it doesn't match up to Mass Effect, Dragon Age, The Witcher, Horizon Zero Dawn, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, or any other RPG series, whether it be action RPG, shooter RPG, even something like Borderlands, swamps Skyrim on just every level that I've mentioned. Now don't get me wrong, character customization, length of time played, just epic scale and what they achieved with the game is beyond comprehensibility. Beyond comprehension. There we go. They achieved a lot with Skyrim that was really good for the time, and it does look really nice from a graphical standpoint as well. But unfortunately, I just don't think it's as good as people claim it to be. But that is going to be the end of the video today, guys. If you did enjoy, like and subscribe. If you're watching and disagree with me, let me know in the comments below and get a nice little discussion going about Skyrim. Anyway, that's going to be me. So thank you all for watching. My name's been Zach. You've been awesome, and peace.
But I press rewind, talking bands, I got it, Benjamins in my pocket. I traded my truth for some robbers, and he's playing Batman, Freddy's gonna rob him. Yeah. I got the Glock in my robbery, 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, I got the Glock in my robbery, 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, she's fine, wondering where she